Okay, welcome to another class on advanced idioms and phrasal verbs. These are all from a book called Idioms and Phrasal Verbs Advanced by Ruth Gaines and Stuart Redman, Oxford University Press. And today we're looking at chapters 48 and 49, I think. So, if you turn a blind eye to something, that means that you ignore it. Even though it's some kind of crime or sin or misbehaviour, you ignore it. Now, why might you do that? It might be because, you're a parent and you don't actually see it as that bad. So maybe you turn a blind eye to your children misbehaving or your children mucking about, and it's because they're just fighting and playing, but it's not a terrible fight. They're not really hurting each other and they're just being loud and letting off a lot of steam. They're releasing energy, and so you decide to turn a blind eye to that minor misbehavior. Or maybe you're a policeman and somebody bribes you, somebody gives you some money, so that you turn a blind eye to their crime. And so it could be a little bit more serious, but when you turn a blind eye to something, you ignore it for one reason or another, even though it is something that should be punished, that's some kind of crime. Okay, if you decide to step in, and this is when there's no object, this means that you get involved in some kind of difficult situation in order to bring it to a resolution. Now, it could be a fight and you decide to step in to defend one of your friends or something like that. And then it does sound like you're going to be fighting as well. You decide to step in, get involved in the fight. But it could be some kind of project and it's falling behind, it's lagging behind. It's not on schedule, and so you need to step in to make sure that you can get it done so that it all gets done on time, so that your team meets their deadline or whatever. So to step in, to get involved in something, to bring it to some kind of resolution, or to solve some kind of problem. It's to get involved in some kind of problem and solve it. Okay, if you draw the line at something, this means that you are setting a boundary, you're setting a limit, usually an ethical limit, and saying, I'll do this and this and this, but I draw the line at doing that. I will not go so far as to do that. So, for example, of course, I'm sure that you and we all draw the line at something like murder or theft, when it comes to making money. I'm sure that you all do lots of different things to earn money, and obviously I'm teaching English to earn money. But there are many things that I would not do to earn money, and you can say, well, I draw the line at doing that, and it just means that's the limit. I will not do that. And so some people, they might say, oh, I'll do lots of different jobs, but I draw the line at cleaning the streets or something like that. They see themselves as above that kind of work. Well, that's not me. I certainly used to be a street cleaner back in my university days, actually. That was my summer job, cleaning the streets. And so it doesn't bother me. I liked being outside in the sunshine. But some people might draw the line at cleaning the streets. They'll do a lot of different jobs, but they draw the line at that. They wouldn't go that far. But it's very different to draw a line under something. If you draw a line under something, you usually draw the line under a certain part of your life, and it means that you've decided that that part is finished. You're not going to dwell on it and get miserable about it. You're going to put that part behind you in the past and face the future. And I want you to think that when you've finished a chapter in a book, you often see a line drawn under that chapter before you go on to the next chapter. And that's to show that that chapter is finished. And that's why I want you to think about parts of your life when you say, okay, that's a finished chapter. You might have had a difficult divorce that you went through, and you might decide to draw a line under your divorce, and it just means put that in the past and not think about it anymore, not let it have any effect on you anymore. And simply put it in the past, put it behind you. That's finished. It's time to move forward. Okay, so very different meanings there. And draw lots is a very old expression, and it's when you put all your names in a hat because you can't decide who's going to do something. You put all the names in the hat and you draw lots to see who is going to do something. Maybe it's cook, maybe it's wash up, maybe usually it's in some kind of game who's going to go first. You draw lots to see who will start the game. But I want you to also think about the shortest straw here, because we used to do it with straws. and whoever had the shortest straw was the one who had to do the terrible thing that nobody wanted to do. And so we also have that expression, the shortest straw. I picked the shortest straw, meaning unfortunately I was the one that had to do the terrible thing. Yeah, and I think that's related to draw lots. Now, when something is a toss-up, I want you to think of toss a coin, because that's where this expression comes from, to toss or flick a coin. If something is a toss-up between X and Y, and I use these to mean two different choices, two different possibilities, then you're not sure, it's 50-50. Yeah, and notice that when you toss a coin, it's 50-50, heads or tails. And so you might say something like this, we're not sure what to do tonight. It's a toss-up between an Indian restaurant and a Chinese restaurant. Yeah, so that's two future choices. Yeah, that's two choices you have. But it doesn't have to be choices, it could be possibilities. So you might say, I don't know who's going to win the FA Cup or who's going to win the league. It's a toss-up between Chelsea and Manchester United. And so it doesn't have to be choices, it could also be possibilities. Now, the lesser of two evils is very common. And the lesser of two evils is when you have two different options available, two different choices available. And again, this is about options, this is about choices, certainly. When you have two options available and they're both bad in some kind of way, but one is not as bad as the other. And so that option is the lesser of two evils. Yeah, and so you quite often say something like, I don't know, we had to... I don't know, it's when you've got two bad choices and you've got to choose one, even though it's not a great choice just because it's the lesser of two evils. It's not the worst choice, but it's still not a great choice. So I can't think of a good example here for when would you say the lesser of two evils. I'll come back to that one before the end. I think I'll have to come back to that one, but it's very common actually. It really is very common. Now I've written to turn over a new leaf at the bottom here. You know, after you decide, well, when you turn over a new leaf, this means that you've had a lot of bad behaviour or you've had some kind of bad habit, and you decide to draw the line under that part of your life and turn over a new leaf and become a good person with good habits or good behaviour. So that's very common as well. Must remember about giving you an example with that. Lesser of two evils. But when you are in two minds about doing something or about something, this means that you're not sure. You are